Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Ben Wallace, who is the former UK Government Defence Secretary, has blasted the SNP for pretending to be things they're not. With their sort of comments and their moans about Israeli planes using Prestwick to refuel after sort of transatlantic flights and things, he's saying that this is outside of the remit of the Scottish Parliament, that they're not foreign secretaries, they don't have control over these things, and that they should stop pretending to be that which they're not. He is, of course, correct. It is the sheer hubris, of course, of these people. They think that they have these powers that are not devolved, powers that they have no control of. And it isn't as though it's anything that they are directly involved in. All they're trying to do, the Scottish Government, is to try and appease the problem of all the pro-Palestinian Muslims in Scotland, who, for some reason, seem to think that Israeli planes landing and refueling in Prestwick is a problem. It's not. The fact is, the cowardice of the Scottish Government is the problem by constantly allowing a one-sided fight. But then we understand when you have a government led by a man who supports the eradication, the genocide of an entire nation. What else do you expect? For Hamza Yousaf, of course, has great links to Hamas, and Hamas want genocide of the Jews. It seems that the problem here isn't Israeli planes, but the current First Minister. Let's take a look. So SNP and Scottish Greens are labelled wee pretendy Foreign Secretaries amid the Prestwick Airport Israel row. This is because these Israel planes are landing there, refilling and then sodding off again. It's not a big issue. Well, it's not a big issue for the normal people, but for the hate-filled wankers of the SNP and the Greens, it's a big issue because they absolutely loathe Jews. I think everything Jewish is awful. They hate Israel, they hate the Jews. They are obviously deeply anti-Semitic. And we saw this two different stories yesterday. One, the ex-SNP minister who is hoping to get a lot of current, not ex-SNP minister, ex-SNP councillor, who's currently get current MSPs, MPs and ministers even to come to her thing, despite showing her a blatant racism. And then yesterday you had the Green as well, asking for a Jewish-free area within Edinburgh, having sort of anti-Jewish apartheid because you don't want to mix with the Jews, apparently, she says. And that goes to show the hatred in both the Greens and the SNP. That is who they are. And of course, when you've got Hamza, the Muslim in chief, sitting there supporting and giving money to Hamas, either directly or indirectly perhaps, you realise that Scotland has been basically corralled and taken over by the very worst kind of people. The sort of people that really ought to be in The Hague, if truth be known. But former UK Government Defence Secretary Ben Wallace blasted two governing parties of Scotland after Ross Greer and Hamza Yousaf both moaned about Prestwick accepting cash from Israel to refuel its planes. Now, there we go. I'm going to suggest Ross Greer needs to be very careful, because I would suggest that would be a hate crime, and I would love to make a complaint. So let's, as I say, we have this countdown to the hate crime. We must use it. We stand, remember? Hashtag we stand. We are not allowing these people to get away with this kind of hate. The Scottish Greens and the SNP have been branded wee pretendy Foreign Secretaries after moaning about Prestwick Airport allowing Israeli warplanes to land there. Ross Greer has been up in arms about the use of the nationalised premises to let Air Force planes fuel up. This is a matter of national security. And at the end of it, that's it. And there is precisely the square root of bugger all that tiny wee Ross Greer can do. He can stamp his little petulant feet and run home and get a bit of extra bitty from mummy. But there's sod all that there is available other than that, because it is national security issue, it's a reserved matter, and he can sod off. Hamza Yousaf, likewise, only he'll be stamping his tiny little racist anti-Jewish feet, won't he? Crying into his baklava. Hamza Yousaf criticised the practice in an interview with left-wing commentator Owen Jones, who, to my knowledge, is the biggest one of them in the world. He keeps getting punched. Can't understand why. But he admitted that Prestwick is operated at arm's length from the SNP ministers, so this was a decision for them. But then it was announced that the airport will no longer strike any deals with Israel, meaning less money for the business. There's also the fact that they don't have the power. Now, if Prestwick want to do that, that's up to Prestwick. But the government can't do it. It's just not there. A flight landed from the Middle East country last year, leading to criticism from the Scottish Greens. The premises are often used for refuelling military aircraft, including US planes operating around Ukraine. But see, there you go. You've got an ally of Britain, Israel, landing its planes and refueling. And they're moaning about that. But you've got the US doing it. And that's fine. Now, why is one okay and the other okay? Is it because Israel is attacking the Palestinians, attacking Muslims, and the Muslim in chief doesn't like it? Who knows? Apparently it's okay for the Americans because they're only attacking Russians. And hey, Russians are fine. It's weird, isn't it? It's absolutely mental. Israel is still a key ally of the UK despite criticisms of its actions in Gaza, and it has led to a former UK Defence Secretary hitting out at both Nats and the Greens for attempting to meddle in reserved matters like international relations. Ben Wallace, who was a former MSP and served as Defence Secretary between 2019 and 2023, took shots at the parties as he told the Radio Times, my apologies, Times Radio, haven't the SNP and Scottish Greens got other things to do than behave like we pretendy Foreign Secretaries? True. Prestwick was bought by the Scottish Government for a token £1 in November 2013, with taxpayer money being ploughed into the site. Now, they're saying, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. Have anyone asked the taxpayer yet? Because I suspect that the vast majority of taxpayers in Scotland would be more than happy for Israel to pay Scotland lots of money for its fuel. Particularly as Israel, I think, are fighting on the side of civilization and not the barbarians that are Hamas. It owes about £52 million of loans and interest to the public purse, which are unlikely to ever be repaid. However, money coming in from this will help. Former chairman Forsyth Black had a focus on attracting military flights instead of passenger flights in order to make money. Over the past 6 years, the airport has received nearly $70 million from the Pentagon and fulfilled more than 4,000 order to refuel US armed flights since 2017. But it will no longer serve Israel due to the SNPGreens interference. I think at this point, the British government at Westminster should step in and say, you will fulfill. And if our allies need to land, you will let that happen. This is national security. It is outside the remit of the Greens. They can do that. They can overstand that because security is a reserved matter. Scottish Government spokesman told the National Glasgow Prestwick Airport operates on a commercial basis and at arm's length for the Scottish Government. The Israeli Air Force does not and has never used the airport as a base. It has not visited Prestwick since November 2023, and the airport has since taken the independent decision not to conduct further business with the Israeli Air Force. They say independence, but you know that there has been political pressure and also international law. If a plane is coming in and it is low on fuel, they cannot refuse a landing. So there you go. The Scottish Greens called for all flights connected to the Israeli military to be banned from UK airports. Oh, go fuck yourself, Scottish Greens. Who the hell do you think you are? And this is in the wake of the Prestwick decision. Mr Greer said it was utterly wrong for Prestwick Airport to be used in the first place. I want to know what Greer is going to do should the Muslims win. Because let me tell you what he'll do. He'll go, ah, as he's thrown from a very tall building down. Because they really don't like people like Greer or Harvey. They'd both go, ah, off those tall buildings, wouldn't they? Indeed, there was a report. I saw it. It's actually 2CTV. I saw it yesterday, and they were interviewing an actual Palestinian, not just one of the supporters, but an actual Palestinian. And saying they were talking about queers for Palestine and gays for Palestine, and he said to them, you know, what about these people supporting you? He goes, oh no, he said, no, we would kill them. We would just kill them. There is no gays in Palestine. Islam does not allow gays. We'd kill them. Man in the street. So there you go. You got Greer going, oh yes, we like them. Oh, look at me, stamp tiny feet. He's supporting the people that would kill him like that. If ever the term prick was invented, if you look in the dictionary, and just show a picture of Ross Greer, wouldn't it? Coming up. soon, so very soon, they will all be gone. They will all be out of politics because they'll be voted out, because everybody is starting to realise now, first of all, the Greens are dangerous, and secondly, the SNP are stupid. And between the pair of them, they've utterly destroyed Scotland. And the thing is, should Israel phone up tomorrow and say to the Foreign Secretary, or the Defence Secretary, or the Prime Minister, whoever, listen, we need to use Press Week. We need, we've got a flight coming in. We want to get half a dozen, strike aircraft in, landed, fueled and away. Any chance? And they'll just go, yeah. And you know what Prestwick Airport will do? It'll go, yeah, okay then. Because it'll have no option. Because defence is nothing to do with the SNP and the Greens. And you've got to say, thank God. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.